Hey guys, welcome back to another These Are My Thoughts About Something Random I Decided to Watch on Netflix Because I Can't Sleep video. So yeah, today we're gonna talk about the Babysitters Club. Woo! So I want to start out by saying that I thought the show was really cute. All the characters were really relatable, and I really enjoyed that about it. I have also never read the books, so I don't really have a lot of background on all the characters or the things that they went throughout the show. I don't know how it differs, and I'm very curious about that. I'm not really one to judge something based on like books to movies sort of thing. I mean, I will kind of judge it, but I also am like, okay, well, this is a movie, it's slightly different, and this is the book, and it's slightly different. Probably the best thing about the series I think that they did is that each episode is from a different girl's perspective. I don't know if that's how the books are, if each book is from a different girl's perspective within the club, but episode wise I thought that was really cool, and that each episode there was different voiceovers of the different girls, so you really got to know their thoughts and how it was like their home and their perspective. I thought that was really, really clever. Instead of it being like a generalized thing, you really got to feel what those characters are feeling and got to feel like what they're going through, you know? I mean, especially because, I mean, it is like all the characters are girls, and you know, it does seem like it's geared towards girls, but I think on the relatable note, it's pretty relatable to girls and boys. Not necessarily like everything, but just like the things that you might face growing up in that phase of your life, and even things that you might face these days. What I mean is that each character faces a challenge within their episode that's like from their perspective. I mean, the other characters face like slight problems and issues as well, but whenever it's from the specific girl's perspective, it's about like her issues and things that she's facing. First off, Claude and her sibling trouble. I mean, I have siblings, and even though I can't 100% relate because me and my siblings actually get along really well, I'm very lucky, but most people that have siblings have issues with their siblings, or like they have disagreements where one is compared to the other and the parents are like, why can't you be like this person, or things like that. You know, I think that's pretty relatable whether you're a girl or a boy. Stacy's story about how she has medical needs that are kind of disrupting her life and how she feels really self-conscious about it. I know not everybody at that age has like medical issues to that extent, but there are people out there, regardless if you're in middle school or older, where you might feel a little embarrassed about like a condition that you have, and that you're worried, especially at that age, you're worried what other people might think of you, that they might see you differently because you have a medical condition that pretty much like really dictates how you live your life. So of course there's Marianne, who I personally really relate to. She faces the issue of being shy and letting her outside reflect her inside, and I thought that was like a really like a lesson that 100% like almost every middle schooler, even high schooler, even adults adults have this issue of like not feeling that they can present themselves in the way that they know themselves to be, not being true to yourself. And of course, how could I forget about Christy, who just needs to be in control all the time? I definitely relate to that. I know as an adult, I have a hard time delegating responsibilities to other people. I feel like I have to do everything myself. And there are times, like, especially, this isn't really a spoiler, so I'm not gonna put a spoiler alert. Like in the last episode, they go to camp and she feels like she has no purpose. She has nothing to do, nothing to be in charge of because she's supposed to be having fun. Whole other conversation on that episode. I definitely, like in this time of quarantine, I have felt that there is no purpose. I have nothing to do. There's also the whole thing with how she has a single mom. I grew up in a single mom household with my two brothers, and so when her mom wants to get married or is like dating this other guy, I definitely, I mean, I never would have blown up like she did. It's definitely relatable because I think when you grow up in a single parent household, when your parent, mom or dad, decides to date somebody or they're thinking about getting married, you just have like so many questions. You suddenly become the parent to your parent. You're like, who are you? What do you do? There are so many questions. Because I think to myself, can I trust you with my mom? I don't know. Are you going to take care of her? Are you going to be good to her? You know? I have to say that one of the greatest things, sadly, is that I was like in tears every episode just because of how relatable all the characters are. Because even though I'm not 100% like just like Christy or just like Marianne, I definitely had moments in my life where I experienced things that each of them are feeling, and it just made me really like just tear up as I'm curled up in a ball at like 3 o'clock in the morning because I can't sleep. Side note, can we just talk about the references in Babysitters Club and how they are perfect? Perfect. I mean, the Queer Eye, I love Queer Eye, and the fact that Queer Eye is all, like, I love when Netflix shows reference other Netflix shows. I think it's hilarious. They had a whole, like, Queer Eye sequence. It was fabulous. They had a Hunger Games reference. At least I'm pretty sure it was a Hunger Games reference. Yeah. But the best one, the best reference in the entire show was definitely in the last episode. They had a Les Mis or Les Miserables, however you say it, reference, which was hilarious. I think I should add a side note to this side note is that I'm a theater person, so I think Les Mis, as big as it is, I actually don't enjoy it that much. However, anytime it's referenced, I really enjoy it. I'm not going to tell you the exact reference. You just have to figure it out, or just gonna have to watch it to find out for yourself, but it is super hilarious. If you've never watched Les Mis, you probably wouldn't get it, but if you have, you will laugh. It's great. So here is where I'm gonna add my spoiler alert. Ba-bam. So the last episode is a 2-parter episode, and I already mentioned before that that's when they go to camp, and it's not that it was bad. It actually had me feeling like content, like, aw. But that's also the problem, is that it didn't leave me hungry for more. Like, I didn't want to know what happens next because I had no questions. You know, there was no cliffhanger. If they had left it at episode 9 with the part 1 and then left part 2 to season 2, then I would have had so many questions, like what happens to Claude? What happens to, what happens to all the girls? Are they gonna get through all these issues that they're having? Now I realize that it's all about like ratings, and there's a whole bunch of other things that are probably contributing to this, but I was really sad that it ended on a good note, because I now, like, if season 2 comes out, I don't feel the need to watch it right away because I have no questions that are left unanswered, you know? However, this does make me curious, even more curious, to read the books, because I kind of want to know how they differ, how these stories like continue, especially considering in the last episode they invite like 2 other girls to join their club, and how those girls, like how their stories come in and how they like, come in and blend with the rest of the club. I'm really curious about them. I guess that's the one question I do have. All right, so I guess what I'm trying to say is that I do recommend Babysitters Club if you're looking for something to watch and you're looking for something that's super relatable. If you've already watched it, let me know how you felt. Do you have any questions? Were you also in tears? Is there any character in particular that you relate to? I think of all of the girls, I relate the most to Marianne, but also a little bit to Christy. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Until next time, bye!